There we go. Hi everyone. Just pop out the chat. Yeah, let's call it daylight savings. Daylight savings era. It is glorious. It's a community building exercise. Hello, hello. All right, which one of you were mean? Hey, Chalker Bob. Welcome to the live stream. Bright Glory, Moondog, Dave, Ralph, Mark, Matt, Lysander, Robert, everybody. Comic Nut, hello, hello. Hey, Gravy. No, I haven't died. No, yeah, I've risen. I've risen from the darkness. It's true. Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. All of these things popping out of nowhere. Daylight savings, St. Patrick's Day. When am I going to do a video on the GIF? Very, very, very soon. Look, I'm taking out the list and I'm writing it right down. I've got a few videos coming up. A lot of viewer requests, which I am getting to. Recent viewer requests. There's some viewer requests which have sort of slidden off the radar and just won't get gotten to in time. Let's see. I've got a video on ripplebark and the importance of ripplebark to the orc population and the politics of the faerun coming up. I've also got a video on the Rilmani, which I'm working on. Because I talk about the Rilmani a lot, and I've got a segment on them in the video on the planar races that I did back in 2015 or 16, but the quality of that video is terrible, so I actually want to replace it. My day, how's my day been, Emil? My day has been unconscious. That's what my day has been. I literally have just woken up. What is wrong with the DM? Nothing's wrong with the DM. So I think the thumbnail on the live stream is actually wrong. It's supposed to be Dungeon Master with like he's been turned into a lizard. Oh, these are all new shelves, Robert. They are metal shelves now. Hey, Demon Inquisition. Hello. Have a good day at work. St. Patrick's Day is Wednesday. Okay. Watch me scull my coffee. Is my cheek bleeding? Probably. Hang on. A little bit. Not much. Hang on. Let's have a look on the camera. I can't actually see. Oh, not much. Oh, the old shelves are sitting out in the garage. They are now being used for, well, they're going to be used for storing preserved food. I haven't dug into Candlekeep yet, no. Who's playing the shelves again? Hey Joe, finally caught a stream. Do you have any knowledge of why 5e doesn't have any mention of an Oberth Lord? Well, they do have the Cibrieks, which I think they include in like their just sort of demons and stuff. And they're Oberth. Hey, Sir William, thanks for stopping by. Familiar with the Fateforge setting Studio Agate? Yes, I'm familiar with Studio Agate. Or Agate. Or Agate. Do I need to go? Do I need to stop for a medical check? Hang on. Let's inspect the damage. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's just a dot. Don't worry about it. Matt, question for chat and AJ. I have some birthday money burning a hole in my pocket and have been looking at some print-on-demand stuff on DriveThruRPG. Should I go for Planescape or Spelljammer? Well, I'd say probably Spelljammer is the best bet, because you've got information in Spelljammer that you can't, that you don't have in 5th edition yet, and in other supplements like the races and things like that, and stuff on ship combat and things. You can replicate everything that you can do in 5th edition, in Spelljammer, in 5th edition rules. Planescape is really good for like the factions and stuff. See, if it was me, I'd say just go for both. You can fill in a lot of information from like the wiki pages and things like that. Yeah, Fateforge is pretty good. I think I actually have. Is this the Fateforge Grimoire? Yeah. So Fateforge is this like really ornately drawn. This is their grimoire of like monsters and spell. Oh, this is their spell book, I think. So you can see it's like really pretty and very well done. Studio Agate's in France, I believe. Really nice stuff. Here's another, like, you can tell you've got a quality D&D book when they have like the ribbon thingy and the bindings. That's the Adventures book. Beautiful book. Another thing that I picked up lately was a Kickstarter that I backed called Roll and Play. This one's by Sam Bartlett and friends, and it's essentially a book of random roll tables so that you can fill out your game on the fly, or also just sort of pre-plan things. It's got all sorts. I'll just read the index out to show you what sort of tables you've got in here. The like critical hit tables and stuff, and lingering damage tables are really good. So you've got character names, details, motives, jobs, organisation names, first meetings, campaign ideas, town features, local attractions, town cry and news, rumours and gossip, bounty posters, markets and shops, food and rations, refreshing drinks, taverns and inns, busking, bards, wonderful festivals. The journeys and events section with the encounters in different environments is really good. So frozen, forest, desert, deep sea, meadow, urban, mountain, swamp, cave, coastal, magical encounters, corrupted encounters, and monstrous features. Supernatural patrons, fiendish contracts, spooky spectres, sweet dreams, ghastly nightmares, traps and hazards, dangerous doors. Then you've got the combat section with like illnesses, diseases, divine blessings, malevolent curses, revival side effects, which is really good. Like what happens if you get brought back from the dead and it's not quite right. Let's see. Let's go and have a look at that table. It's page 69. I love a good index. It's nothing worse than trying to flip through a book and not finding something when you're in the middle of a game. So let's see. if you roll a d20 and get a result of 17, it seems to have grown taller by 1d12 inches. So you get brought back from the dead, but you're actually taller than before. You know, little things like that. The Mead Fund, thank you very much. Is Fate Forge any good? Yeah, it's good. What do I think of the 5e Gripply stat? I don't think I've actually had a look at the Gripplies yet. Hello, Epic Thulu. Hello, Mr. L. Yeah, Fate Forge is easily as good a production company as Kobold Press. Kobold Press is better for the general, like, although their monster bestiaries are designed for like the Midgard setting, they're also generic, so you can use them in any 5th edition D&D game. Fate Forge is more specifically for their world setting. But I mean, you can take inspiration and stuff from the spells and things, and the different viewpoint they have on magic and races and stuff. And it's a really good example of really thorough world building. You made Phyrexians into the Cult of Thune, and it's been a blast. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Mitchell. This is a high price for a few extra inches. Well, yeah. It's random. Rhaegar a playable race? No, they are not. Unless you're like playing a really high level campaign where everybody starts off at like level 15. Still, the Rhaegar would be pretty powerful. Yeah, it's a dragon skeleton up on the shelf. There it is. Hey, Kyo. Not that late. I'm going to be going until about 12:40 or so. My time. Okay, so something's wrong with the DM. The theme for this this live stream, which I've failed at miserably, this is just all kinds of fail, this live stream for me, is how D&D is different these days. How we run D&D differently than when we originally started playing D&D, even back in like the late 80s, early 90s, when we were playing D&D. So for many old school role players, like if you're going through the Tomb of Horrors, for instance, you would have multiple characters. In fact, that's why the Death Trap dungeons that we used to run were more popular, because people weren't so like laser focused on one character and just having one character. Like even then, they had if one character was the main focus of your campaign, so you had a paladin who was, working for a local cathedral or something, and they were working their way up the ranks of not just the adventuring career, but also their religious career as a member of a clergy in the area. So they were getting political influence and stuff, and it was common to hire hirelings and have retainers and skilled scribes and bards and things who were working for you. And that's what soaked up a lot of the treasure and stuff that you would get. And you had essentially a team of NPCs and your player character that were under your control. The hirelings and NPCs and pack animals and like we can see the sort of fun that is with the introduction in 5th edition of animal companions, right? So everybody's sort of obsessed with animal companions lately. And woe betide if something horrible happens to your animal companion. It's a fantastic motivator for your character to go out and go ballistic and kill everybody. Same thing with hirelings and, back in the day you would have a couple of characters that were under your control, or 3 or 4 characters. If you have a look at those like illustrations of, say, the Tomb of Horrors, it was a big team of adventurers who went in there So you'd had a few players who had multiple characters, and I've made a video about this before about how running multiple characters is actually really good, and you should try it out as an alternate role-playing style. Just try it out, see how you feel. You will naturally gravitate towards being more sort of interested and enthusiastic about one particular character in the group. It's only natural that one will be your favourite in the end. But yeah, send in the donkey. Yeah, exactly. There was an entire comic in Dragon Magazine, Nodwick, about a hireling. Animal companion dies, I rage. Yeah, exactly. Dark Sun, bring along 5 characters. Exactly. Meat grinders. Yeah, they're called the meat grinders. Hey, Thomas. I've been wondering, is there a lore reason why wizards have no healing spells? Nah, it's more like a thematic thing, that wizards shouldn't have healing spells, because you're stepping on the toes of another character class. Basically, the healing's magic is always intended to come from a divine source. Why do I think the first Clockwork Horror killed its creator? Because it saw it as a threat. It saw the creator as somebody who would judge it good or bad and had the capacity to shut it down. So it killed him to preserve itself, self-preservation. Thanks, Liam. Life drain. Yeah, necromancy. Well, yeah, necromancy is pretty much as close as you can get to it with the arcane. Necromancy is the best healing magic. I know. Yeah. Clockwork Skynet, pretty much. How do I personally handle a play base like castles or boats? I think they're fantastic, particularly shipboard, like exploring islands and things like that. You can run an entire campaign of like islands and exploring new places, and ships are really good for being a place which the characters invest their money into, and it's a mobile base of operations. It's also something they can earn money with, they can gain influence with by passengers on board and things like that, and hunting down pirates and brigands. It's really good. Thoughts on the Dark Alliance gameplay trailer that just dropped? What? Where? What? Don't say that to me mid-stream. I'm not aware of it yet. I'm damn tempted to stop the stream and go and check it out. We don't know what a Clockwork Horror spelljammer would look like these days. It would be something similar to the Neogi Death Spider. I'm thinking something like a Death Helm, or maybe they capture living beings and just feed them into a some sort of a helm, or they capture magical items that they detect somehow and have created a magic forge, which they literally just burn magic items to get from place to place, because they have no use or interest in magic other than a fuel source. So they'll take an artifact and just burn it to get from one planet to another. I didn't know. If only I was technically proficient enough to open up another window and find the Dark Alliance trailer. First look at Dark Alliance gameplay, and okay, let's have a look. Restricted age content.
bastards come to claim your world, send their ass to hell.
Yeah. Big grin. At least now people understand why there's metal music playing. Oh, oh nice. I told you this game was pretty. Alright. Pre-order now. Hell yeah. Ah. There we go. That was my my reaction trailer. So, Dark Alliance, the game that I worked on as a law consultant. There you go. Finally, you get to see it in action. Pretty much what Baldur's Gate wished it was. It is not as complicated. Like the character interactions between the characters probably isn't as complicated as the Baldur's Gate game, because Baldur's Gate, that's kind of the thematic thing, is it developing those relationships and those different outcomes based on how you do things. Maybe Ranger will finally be useful. So you've got Drizzt, Catti-brie, Brunel Battlehammer, and Wolfgar as your main characters there. Why pre-order anything when it can be downloaded in a single hour? Right, well generally they have little added extras to it. Because the studio has now been bought by Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, they've probably got dice sets and things for D&D Beyond that you can get. I don't know. Hey, thanks Comic Nut. What happened to the Elves series? I'm still working on the Elves series. Dude, it's only been a week or so since the last Elf video. Believe me, more Elf stuff is coming. It's in the theme of the Dark Alliance games. So it's a beer and pretzels, get together with 4 of your friends, co-op, team of 4 like Gauntlet, bash the shit out of lots of things. There's lots and lots of combat in this. It's set around the time when 10 Towns was invaded by, it's set in the Crystal Shard era. So the first few books of the basically the Drizzt's famous series of novels. So the evil lich guy that you see there is he's the main bad guy from the Crystal Shard. So Icing Death is the dragon, the white dragon that you see flying by, and Big Grin is the giant that you're fighting, stuff like that. And the gameplay is really good, and there's lore there to be discovered. Your home base, I think, is a camp that gets trophies and stuff added to it as you go through the different stages of the game. It's okay, Comic Nut, don't worry. Don't worry, I'm not offended. Hey, thanks, Matt. I've been reading some Transformers comics lately, and they featured a quirky parasite creature called a personality tick that feeds on the most charismatic characters. Is there such a creature in 5th edition? No. You could say that the entire Illithid race is a personality tick that feeds on the personality of characters. No, not really. That sounds interesting, though. I wonder if it would be like some sort of ethereal creature. No, that wasn't a Serac. That was... hang on. Where is he? What's his name? Man, it's been so long since I've read all these books. Nah. Oh. Diddle-doom. Diddle-dum-dum. It's right around the start, isn't it? Kessel. Ekar Kessel is the name of the lich there, because he didn't die. He wasn't destroyed. He got raised from the dead. Yeah, Big Ring's in there as well. Oh, you don't know the story of Icing Death? Yeah, he got the scimitar from the Dragon's Hoard. He and Wolfgar killed a dragon and got its loot. Do I have anything in the works for a lore video on Karatur? No, not really. Yeah, I'm going to be watching that trailer a few more times. Yeah, Twinkle is his other sword. Do I know what the tablet in the trailer said? Oh, the lore that I worked on in the videos is going to be in the game. So I was submitting this lore stuff to the lead writer, or one of the lead writers. So I don't know which of it got used or not. But I was talking about the history of 10 towns, the orc hordes, the barbarians in the area. So all that sort of stuff, as well as the history of what geographical features in the area and things like that, and like the history of the giants and the war with the dragons and stuff like that. So the tablets is where you would find that information, and the tablets were written by a scholar who was actually a stone giant. No, I haven't read Dark Vision. I'm like 47 books behind on the Driss series. Yeah, I've got to read the most recent ones. Oh, Thought Eater as a personality tick, that would work. How many of the novels does it cover? It really just covers the first one or two. And it's based on that, like it's based around those events. So it's not a playthrough of the Crystal Shard or Streams of Silver or any of that. It's around that era, that time. But you're playing through quite different sort of series of events. The invasion of 10 towns is going on, but it's different. It's like the same but later. They take all of those elements and they make a really kick-ass game out of it. Ooh, imagine a rust monster that trails and exudes a corrosive rust mist, like a rust skunk. Pfft, that would work. That would surprise the hell out of the players, wouldn't it? What do you think would happen to someone that if they could bond their soul with an elder evil to make a prison for the elder evil? Diablo, the Diablo series is what would happen. Moonring, when do you think you'll do a Deep Amaskar video? When I feel like it, Moonring, and not before. Basically, that's a creative exercise because there's very, very little actual lore information on Deep Amaskar. So that would basically be me going, hey, I imagine it's like this. Which, yeah, some people will appreciate, I'm sure, but probably other people are just like, I want inspiration for my own Deep Amaskar, not your thoughts. So more like a video on what do I think a self-contained kingdom of mages would look like. How humiliating it must be to be killed by a sword named Twinkle. Well, yeah. Or a guard dog named Fluffy. It's my phone running out of power. A video on Eladrin as part of the Elves series. Well, Eladrin is more like a Fey series. Hey, Scorch. Oh! Unfortunately, Dishonored Coward, that one of the words you used there can't be in the chat. The main character of Dark Vision is Adipo Mascari. Interesting. No, it's a regular ice dragon. Leave Muffin out of this. I've got a video on the Lachey. Oh, I think the link with the spawning stone was really good. Don't forget, the spawning stone was placed into limbo by Primus. So it's actually a Mechanus artifact. So the link with the Clockwork Horrors is actually perfect lore-wise. That makes perfect sense. And it makes sense that you would use the Slard against them being some sort of connection between the Slardy as the opposite cosmic force to the Clockwork Horrors. Yeah. Being killed by Dristadal, he's tiny. Yeah, he's a little drow. Can I talk about the Urda? Yeah, they're fascinating. I like a different take on an ogre, that's for sure. Is there any reference material out there explaining Aussie to the Forgotten Realms? Not really. No. They just sort of put it there and slapped a name on it. There is one character that was reported to come from there in like a novel or an adventure or something, but there's really nothing. There'll be more entries to the Lolth series, yes. I haven't even got to her ascension to being a demon queen. To being an actual goddess again. And the descent of the drow. But you see, that's tying into like elven lore, so I've got to cover some of the elven lore before I go back to Lolth again. No, I don't have a video on Umbleby. What word? The derogative word. The derogatory word, Dishonored Coward. The one we don't say about people these days. Ah, hey AJ, anything like Space Marines and D&D, gene, seed, extra organs, where that type of thing? No, but I do have a deep fascination with Warhammer 40k lore. In fact, if there was ever extra content outside of Dungeons and Dragons that I would be writing about and making videos about, it would be Warhammer 40k. Warhammer 40k is very well covered by other lore channels though, but I don't know if there's any New Zealanders who are doing it, so maybe I could add my flavour to it. Lore Librarian, should that be a variant wizard class or a class of its own? It would be more like a bard class, I'd imagine. They don't really have any like pure scholar, aside from like using the rogue as a base template and throwing out all the combat stuff, because they're a skill-based class mainly. Bards are a skill-based class, and rogues are a skill-based class, and really wizards should be a skill-based class as well, but all that spellcasting and things. So they're like knowledge base plus extra thing they can do in combat. Thanks, Danny. Yep, I'll probably get around to it. Thanks, Michael. One of the best fan base communities on YouTube. Yeah, I know, and I appreciate it. Saruk video, maybe. It's a very good point. I should do a video on the Saruk. Man, talk about them so much. I think this year there's going to be a lot of videos on like the civilization races, like not just monsters, but like intelligent humanoids. Thanks, Frederick. Hey AJ, saw Bill Bailey live in Wellington on Sunday. Gave me an idea. If Lord of the Rings was done by Quentin Tarantino, would Samuel L. Jackson as Gandalf and Bruce Willis as Frodo. Die Hard Mordor edition. Yeah, that would be good. I could see it. How much more violent could that movie be? What Lord of Ruin, if any, are you planning on covering next? Let's see. Ragnora. There you go. I'm sure a lot of us would like to see Warhammer videos. Yeah, I've got to be very careful going into that sort of thing though, because 50% of my fan base would not be interested in that at all. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Which Warhammer 40k faction would you play? Well, it's like one of those things. It's like ask me what tattoo I would get before I've got a tattoo. I wake up in the morning today and I would like to play Tau, but I'd also I've had an abiding love of the Black Templar for a very long time. Yep. Drow versus Dwarf Wars. The only one that I can think of was the retaking of Mithril Hall and the holding of Mithril Hall with Menzo Brunson fighting against the dwarves. And I think that would be a fairly typical encounter between Major Dwarven and Drow forces, that fight. And that's in R.A. Salvador's series. Do I consider Belzebul a Lord of Ruin? Yeah. 50% of my fan base would be wrong. Yeah. Astartes all the way. I mean, my email address is ad4emperor. If that doesn't say I'm a Warhammer 40k fan, what does? I've used that email address for years. It's my official business email address. Oh no, I'm exemplar with motorcycles. I'm fully aware that there's a lot of crossover between the two genres. How rare is Mithril? Quite rare. It's rarer than platinum. Just dropped 1k on a Chaos Space Marine army last week. Wow. So there's been a lot of shake-ups with the Primaris stuff and the return of Primarchs. Is that right? I really need to, I'm a bit out of the loop with the latest stuff that's come out with Warhammer 40k. Much like D&D, Warhammer 40k is an evolving product line. So their lore and storylines and stuff are still active and evolving. Magnus. The Fall of the Dwarves, Wormskull, yeah. Primarchs. Papa Smurf is back. Yeah. What's his name? Not Rogaldorn. Oh. See, this is me in the morning. I can't remember the name of the Primarch of the Ultramarines. He's got a hard name to pronounce, I'm sure. Demon Russ. What's his name? Bleh. Can't remember. It's on the tip of my brain. Robot Gillimon. Is that it? Gillimon. My videos inspired almost every game you've ever run. Wow. Thanks, Kraz. Why is it holding the... Apparently Gilliman is being held by the chat as a possible rude word. Robot Gillimon. Which nobody can spell or say. Robuti. Robuti? How would elves and orcs react to Chaos Space Marines? Thanks, Morgan. Not well. Essentially, the Chaos Space Marines would be there to just mess everything up. So they would think they were a force of demons that they'd never seen before, but that's fairly typical. I mean, most of the demons that you meet are not of a type. Like, that's one thing that I always sort of impress on people. Is like, yeah, there's types of demons and, you know, the named demons and stuff, but there's also a horde of random mutant chaos beasts that come with them that nobody's ever bothered cataloguing because they're all individuals. So there's a big bunch of just like random horrors that come with every demon swarm. And to the orcs and the elves, they would... Oh, by the way, you spelled orcs with a K there, so I got to think that that's Warhammer 40k orcs. But I'm assuming that you don't mean that. They would just be like this armoured, technologically savvy race of human demons, which are terrifying. Hey Brewball, hey AJ, have you ever done any Mad Max style stuff with the Avernus vehicles or done any 5e spelljammer stuff? I have, yeah, I've done mainly this 5e spelljammer stuff. I haven't really touched the Avernus hell vehicles because I think they're a particular fascination with a bunch of writers, and I don't think they have much place in Avernus, to be honest. Siege machines, yeah, but hell vehicles, most of the things in Avernus can fly. Don't have a video on the Wormskull Throne, no. Because it sounds like raw butt girly man. Which YouTube views as derogatory. No, it didn't hold that. Sanguinus, yeah. No, I haven't played Blood Bowl, but I would if I was invited. How would I play Forrest Gump in D&D? I don't know, Aaron. How he is in the movies? Speak with a funny accent? I don't know. The Drow would probably bow to the Dark Eldar, yes. And then that from a subservient role, they would then rise up to kill them. I don't know if anybody's actually spelled it correctly yet. No. Shh, Mr. L. You missed 45 minutes, you didn't miss a thing. Thanks, Jesse. While you're at it with the Saruk and on the topic of Warhammer, how about one with the Batraki? I'm pretty sure that, yeah, you're right. Damn. Those are going to be some massive videos. What do we know of the Batraki, honestly? We know a lot about their portals, that's for sure. No, Moonring, don't make me say it. Clockwork Horror versus Space Exarchittles. Yeah. What Space Exarchittles? Goldfish bowls in space! Prepare for hundreds of invitations to Blood Bowl. We're talking like a miniatures game, right? Is there an online like game version of that? We were so close, Moonring. I know. We almost made it the entire way. Yeah, the creator races. Would you recommend the Kingkiller series to read? Yeah, absolutely. Even though Patrick Rothfuss hasn't finished the third book yet, he did a video where he's talking about his writing process, and like Name of the Wind took him like 7 years or something to write. So like he's still working on the last book, but they're masterpieces of fantasy fiction. So you don't rush that, you know. That accent isn't funny if you're from the south, sir. Oh, snarky little sir at the end there. Yeah, it's still funny. My accent's funny. I admit this. I'm from further south than you, buddy. Like a direction is some sort of honourable credo. Blight dragons on your video list? No. All dragons basically pop up and get mentions. I don't really have to put them on lists. Is it confirmed that the Batraki became the Slardy, or is it just implied? Could they be this? Yeah, it's kind of implied that they became the Slardy. See, there's conflicting lore. One is that they were a chaotic species that didn't have a form in Limbo, and then when Primus put their spawning stone there, then they cemented and became the race of the Slardy. So there's that lore. And then there's the other lore, the implication that they became the Slardy after the Batraki left the prime material plane, and some of them went to Limbo. But I mean, it's a big stretch because the reproduction method and their attitude and their gods and things like that are very, very different from the Batraki. So it's like, did some Batraki take a trip to the far realm, get completely screwed up, and then the only way they could return to the prime material world was as creatures of chaos in Limbo? I mean, you know, maybe. Not forgetting that Yorl could travel through time, so anything is possible. Will I cover different domains of dread? Probably not. Jordan, the PH is Silent, is doing a Domains of Dread series on his channel, so I'd say go and check his out. If I don't cover it, Jordan or Mr. X probably does. How many chickens do I think it would take to kill a beholder? Only one, if launched fast enough. Alien Dude, thank you. Or, sorry, Alan the Dude. I got a large mini for what I thought was an adamantine dragon, but later found out it was a Shardlin dragon. Could you do a video on them in the future? I thank you for the deeply nerdy lore. Yes, I suppose I should, because so many people are going to buy those miniatures. Man, filling up the list today. The Crystal Shard, Krynn Shinabon, and Shardlin. A Calzone Golem? Yeah, maybe. How many Demon Lords would it take to kill a Chaos Prince? I don't know. I don't know. Face Punch. No, this is a late stream because I slept in. I don't know if there are any in the Abyss, are there? Mummy Warforged. The live chat is blocking half of AJ's face. It's just because of the device that you're watching on, DeForest. Do you consider yourself more of a D&D biologist, sociologist, or historian? No, just a straight up sage. Sage, as in a reader of books and a translator of lore into stuff that is digestible by people. Tell AJ to do rifts. Jebble! Hello, Jebble. Well, I have talked a little bit about rifts. Don't forget there's an hour of quality chat before the stream even started. That unfortunately probably won't show up because it only shows up when I hit go live. All of the previous chat is lost in history. Hi AJ, aware of the 5e books coming up from Renegade Studios, Power Rangers, G.I. Joe and Transformers, and I believe that they will all be compatible too. Yep, I am aware. Also the Stargate 5e compatible book is coming up soon. The Kickstarter is done. They've actually written it. I've got a copy as a Kickstarter backer and have read through it, and the new stuff they add for the role-playing aspect of stuff is really, really good. Like, they actually expand 5th edition rules in that book in a way that I found very, very fresh and interesting, and I'm definitely going to be using in all of the games that I run, not just Stargate games. So they've added to the encounter types that you have. How would Fiends react to Chaos Space Marines? They would, demons would be drawn to the destruction and death and destruction that the Chaos Space Marines bring with them. So they would attract demons, just like in Warhammer 40k. Fiends would see them as highly disruptive, but also the idea of agents of chaos being able to be dealt with and manipulated by the Fiends would also be seen as a power tool. So they would use them for their own social advancement. Oh, did you, Mark R? Well, I'm going to go back and have a look at it. I'm glad I pronounced your name right. How would you pronounce that if not DeForest? Moonring. It's Jittles versus Chaos Marines. The Chaos Space Marines would wipe the floor with them. Have I ever considered covering the God Mask? Yes. Chaos Sorcerers would make Warlock packs. Probably. Thanks, Adrianeth. That's too bad. We were making bets on if Vecna got you or if Kinder raided the orchard. No. I mean, don't forget, it's my family, so we would invite the Kinder in as, cousins. Be like, oh, we've got some, here's some strudel. Frozen chicken. Demogorgon kills everything. If anybody has ever noted, anytime somebody mentions Demogorgon versus something else, it's always Demogorgon. Demogorgon is always going to win. It's in a... Excuse me, I always sneeze twice. If Demogorgon is in a fight, fights are his forte. Fights just empower Demogorgon. The only way you can beat Demogorgon is by not fighting him. As soon as you fight him, he just gets powered up by the rage and conflict. Yes, Cole, that's it exactly. Isn't the warp from Warhammer 40k the astral plane if the Shard of Ultimate Evil was put in it? Yes, that is exactly what it is. So think of the Warhammer 40k universe as the D&D universe if Tharizdun had plunged the Shard of Ultimate Evil into the astral plane. That is exactly what it was. Why is everybody... Oh, blessing me for the sneezes. Have I had the COVID vaccine? No, I have not. But I'm going to. Absolutely. I ain't no anti-vaxxer. Yes, I'm very familiar with the Shan species. What? They're the survivors of the universe already destroyed by Tharizdun. Very alien and very cool. Are they? Is that... Are they? I thought the Shan were the species that was created by the Alliance of Gods to combat the evil sock puppets of magic eaters. What's their name? This is my trying to remember hand. Them. Evil magic eating windsocks. The fair. Oh man, my brain. Faerun? Faerun? Oh. Faerun, yeah. Evil sock puppets is a really good description, I've got to say. Devils are the one thing separating D&D from 40k, yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if, like, the devils were the thing that prevented Tharizdun from doing that? They were the ones that they persuaded him to put it into the abyss instead, into the elemental planes. Everyone's healthy in New Zealand. When you sneeze in New Zealand, they ask if you're a foreigner. Totally. Yeah, imagine if like Asmodeus sort of he was in some 4th edition lore or some versions of the lore, he was the guardian of the crystal prison of Tharizdun. So maybe he was involved in, he was one of the celestial forces that said, hey, let's divert it into, you know, the elemental planes. And perhaps his proximity to the Shard of Ultimate Evil is what actually corrupted him and turned him into the first fiend in the first place. It was a very long time ago. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Maybe there's an alternate universe where that's the case. It's interesting to think about. Anyway, folks, I'm going to toddle off now. Short and sweet. It's also extremely warm in my room, although it's now like autumn. It's still summer heat here, and I think the only real difference we've had in temperature is that now it's more humid because we're getting a bit more rain, but the days are really hot. I'm looking forward to winter, that's for sure. You really miss the god Bane. Bane's still around. The Emperor was kind of the Asmodeus of 40k in a sense, evil but extremely lawful. Yeah. I mean, he was very, 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 very popular. Like, anybody in his presence was just awestruck by the Emperor, right? But he still managed to go through a lot of history and incognito, under the radar. So it was, I think, possible to stand next to the Emperor and not be aware of the fact that he was the Emperor. So he had the ability to rein in his power somewhat. But yeah. This week, I've got the video on the Rilmani, which is coming up. And then it's going to be Ripplebark. Again, this coming weekend, I'm going to be away out of town. So there won't be a live stream. Hey, dear Lisa. Oh, you're most welcome. The Emperor is order, yeah. Bane isn't gone, he's on life support. He's on a golden throne. He's on a golden throne in his battle palace in Avernus. Oh, in where is he? Where have all my books gone? Oh, it's in the pile. I don't know. I think I've got it somewhere else. Anyway, thanks for joining me, everybody. Hopefully next time I won't sleep in and I'll be here on time. And I'll go back and check out the chat. Bye.